Good afternoon, everybody. Good morning to my friends in California. I hope everybody's doing well. How are we all doing today? Quite the day. A lot of Fed talk. Delay in data. Lots and lots of action today. Let's just say that's for sure. How are we all doing today? We having a good one? Despite the market sell-off? I know people don't like market sell-offs. But, we're going to talk about a little bit of that today. There's going to be a lot for us to discuss. I'm going to dig in here in a couple of minutes. Where are we all in from? I'm a new member. The link was forwarded by a current member. I'm Mary W. I'm surprised you did not get a link, but you found us, so we're good. All right, Mike made money on Huntington Bank calls, or Huntsman Corp. Poor Richie's in Utah. Welcome. William wants to see my new puppy. I'll bring my new puppy into one of my my services tomorrow. Oh, everybody wants to see the puppy. I see how it is. I'll show everyone the puppy a little bit later in the live rooms, but she is she's cute, but she's big already. Cat's in from Kansas City. Good to see her from Kansas, not Kansas City. Madge is Los Angeles, Fort Worth, Texas. Mary's in Denver. It's great to see everybody. I am in Austin, Texas. Mike B is in South Carolina. Hans is in outside of Toronto. Welcome, Christine. Jay Torben is from Bucks County, Pennsylvania, home of Neshaminy and many other wonderful cities. Larry's in Illinois. Are you outside Chicago or are you in downstate? Andrew is down the street 2 blocks over. All right, Larry. As long as you're a Bears and a Cubs fan, then we're cool. There's a weird subsection of Southern Illinois that are actually St. Louis Cardinal fans. I don't know how that happened. I guess because they're really close to St. Louis. All right. I had a little Thanksgiving lunch with my son Tino a little bit ago. And then my wife is about to get on an airplane to Las Vegas. I've said goodbye to her. She's going to BravoCon. So I'm going to wish her a quick goodbye before I dig in. All right, Lauren, I love you. Love you. All right. Yeah, we're all partying here. All right. Hello, everybody. I am Mark Sebastian. I am the founder of OptionPit.com. Today, we are going to talk about the questions and answers from the Income Summit we did Monday and Tuesday. We tried to answer as many questions as we could, but we were inundated with questions, and we didn't want to keep people here all night, every night, for the two days. Like, we would have been talking for hours. So what Hans and I decided to do was pull together all of your best and most important questions, your pressing questions, and we're going to answer them. So, Justin, if you want to share my screen. So, welcome to the Income Summit 2025 Q&A session. This is exactly how to approach your long-term wealth without a financial advisor. Now, before I begin, I have to remind you that the materials presented are for information and education purposes only. Option Pit does not offer investment, legal, or tax advice of any kind. If you see something and you take action, you do so at your own risk. All right, in our 2-day summit, we covered financial advisor returns versus Hans returns, right? One of the themes we discussed was, where are the customers' yachts, right? Your financial advisor, yes, they want good things for you, but really their top priority is themselves. And really the only person that truly cares about your financial well-being is you and your family. I think we can all agree there. But then we looked at, what you can do without a financial advisor. We looked at kind of the 3 types of income plays that Hans runs. And we talked about how a $10,000 account or a $100,000 account or a $1 million account might allocate across Hans's different income types. Type 1 is pure income that had 25% account growth. Type 2 was in Leaps that had 70% account growth. And type 3 was turbo trades that had 245% account growth. Those are absolutely phenomenal returns and the type that you will never get ever with a financial advisor. So kind of recapping, Trader A, who's got $10,000, we reminded you that they're likely to want to concentrate on turbo trades that produce that 245%. You need very quick growth. You have a small account to work with. This is the most rapid income goal. You're looking for rapid growth. Trader B, Leap is primarily going to be looking at Leaps. They want faster growth than 10% a year. Most important goal, consistent overall growth. And then Trader C, who happens to be extremely good looking, if I may say so, wants to protect his nest egg, but still generate more than buying the S&P 500. Most important income goal, low risk, keep what I have, and produce some income on it. So with that, now that you've been reminded of all the major pieces that we discussed, let's start digging into these questions. And to do that, I need to bring in Hans Albrecht. He is Option Pit's head of income trading and the man behind Turbo Income. Hans, why don't you come on in?
Hey, Mark. Hey, everybody. Hey, thanks for coming today.
Absolutely. Thank you for being here. We've got I'm about to be firing off questions at you. So I hope you brought your thinking cap, because I'm going to be sending, I've got a whole bunch of them. So here are the biggest questions today from the audience to you. Question 1, what option clearance level do I need for these trades?
Well, that's a great question, Mark, but I have a more pressing issue. You talked about somebody from Kansas earlier. Why is it Kansas, but it's not Arkansas? Okay, I'm just a simple Canadian. I don't know the lingo down there in the US, but if anybody knows that answer, please put it in the chat. We want to know why that is. Okay, so everybody, option clearance. So this is really, really easy. So for level 1, basic covered calls, cash secured puts, things like that are going to be level 1. Okay. Long options, which is something we do Leaps trades. We are going to need level 2 generally. Sometimes these things will vary a little bit, but to do all of it, you're going to want that level 3, because that's going to get you into spreads, which is part of the income side of things. And then occasionally we're going to do some income on income kind of thing. When the conditions warrant it. So level 3 is what you're going to want to aim for.
Now, is it hard to get level 3? If I'm relatively new, is it going to take me a long time to get level 3 clearance to be able to take advantage of all of your trades?
It shouldn't. No, it shouldn't. You'll have some things to fill out. You'll have some forms, et cetera, but that is not a very difficult thing. I think with a little bit of experience, investing experience, you'll be able to get that.
Okay. And you're happy to guide people through that process, correct?
Absolutely. And when you come into the program, you get a full onboarding process. We are there to hold your hand all the way through and make sure you're comfortable and informed on all these kinds of topics to get you up and running and learning very, very quickly.
Okay. That's great. All right. Here's question 2. And this is one we saw a lot. Hans, how long do you stay in your trades?
Okay, so well, it is going to vary, right? It is going to vary. So I love a quick win as much as anyone, right? I will not look a gift profit in the mouth, but the income trades tend to be, we kind of target those kind of 45-day, starting positions. But you can take those off earlier. It depends on how things evolve. Leaps and turbos are designed to give you time. And that's really one of the nice things I love about them, is that they give you time for your idea to develop. And I think that's one of the most powerful things to be able to do in investing, and especially in the options world, which is overcome what we sometimes face in options, which is, okay, we got to be right. We got to be right away. Well, these strategies give you some time for your thesis to kind of play out. And that's one of the things I really love about it. So, anywhere from you can have a leaps trade that's a month, you can have one that's a couple months. So anywhere from, I'd say on average, you're probably looking between 2 weeks and 2 months.
Well, and one of the nice things with slower trades is there's less like, I need to get this right now. Right.
Yeah.
So if you are gone for a couple of days, most of the time traders can get into your trades after they've been issued, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. So that's the thing. This isn't one of the bits of feedback I got just last week was somebody said, "Oh, I really love it. It's fantastic service. It's enabled me to buy these other services, but it's low stress, right? It's low stress as much as a strategy can be low stress. So it isn't sort of oh my gosh, I got an alert this second, I better act on that. So it's a little bit more chill.
Yeah, it's not time sensitive like other strategies are.
That's right.
All right. What would you suggest to be the minimum amount in an account to trade your strategies?
So the account size, you can definitely get going with about 5,000. That's going to work. And one of the nice things about the strategy is I like to call it sort of the Swiss Army knife of approaches, because you have 3 different sleeves that will work towards achieving your income goals. And each one has a slightly different kind of structure to it. And some of them can be, $500, $700 a trade, and some of them can be $3,000 a trade. But there's always something going on. So it really enables anyone with a smaller account the ability to kind of start off. You may have to pick and choose. You're not going to do the big honking trade right away, but there's always a little bit to choose from, just as we face every day. You go to the grocery store, well, you've got a whole bunch of things to choose from. You're going to choose what's appropriate for you at the time. But with the goal that over time you are working your way towards building that account and being able to do more of the trades over time.
So the goal here is, you can get away with a small amount, but you want to grow that. So that kind of leads us to investor A, trader A, right? With the small account, they're going to concentrate on your turbo trades primarily, correct?
Yeah, turbo trades. We really want to get that account size going. We're going to be focusing on turbos. Once you get up to that, larger account size, say 70, 80, $100,000 account, now you can kind of you've got a little bit more freedom to run multiple types of strategies in the various sleeves and multiple trades, right? So with a smaller account, nothing wrong. You have maybe one trade in each of those sleeves, right? You've got one turbo trade. You've got one leap trade. Maybe a leap trade is $2,200, and then an income trade is $700, and then your turbo is $1,600 and you're sort of around that $5,000 account, and you've got three different things working for you there. And then once you're in that big honking account, $1 million, like Mr. Moneybags Mark right here, now you're starting to run this thing a little bit more like a fund, and you're focusing on these different layers with a lot of trades within each one, and multiple trades within each sleeve.
Okay. So folks, I think the lesson here is start out small, but the goal is to get big. And if you're big, you want to keep that money and allow it to grow. So this is a strategy that is really for almost anybody. Wouldn't you say that, Hans?
It is 100%. It's a great way to really start understanding the different kinds of things that you can do. A lot of people see the turbo and they go, wow, that's pretty unbelievable. And they do the same for leaps, right? I know you use them sometimes too, Mark, and people go, wow, the light bulb goes off, and they say, I didn't realize I could create that kind of exposure. You can have exposure to Amazon for a lot less capital. And that's a very, very powerful thing to have. So right away, you are suddenly you have access to things that really 99% of traders out there don't have. And I would even say, Mark, that 99% of option traders don't know about, right? There's a lot of option traders out there. You are positioning yourself as a top in that top tier from a knowledge standpoint. And that's just going to make you more powerful and more successful over time.
All right.
All right. What do we got next?
All right. When the market temperature indicator shows 2 greens, do you immediately send out a turbo trade alert? So this is more a little bit into the weeds.
Yeah.
Do you immediately send out a turbo trade alert?
Right. So we talked about this yesterday, and 100% I encourage anybody who didn't see the presentation, check it out. The performance is unbelievable. We went over the track record. It's a little bit kind of ridiculous. It's terrific. And we really go through each strategy, how well it did. And how they combine within the different portfolios that we're talking about here. And a big part of the strategy is the MTI indicator. So this is a crucial instrument that you get with the program that helps you to understand a number of very, very important things. So I got to give a little bit of preamble here. So you've got a number of colors. Couldn't be any easier. You got red, yellow, and green. And when you're yellow, you're going to focus a little bit more on incoming type trades, because guess what? The market is telling you that it's probably struggling a little bit. It's having a little trouble with things. Option prices are probably a little more juicy. We want to always be aware of that. That's the approach considers those things. And then when it's green, that's when we're going to step on the gas and let the market do a little bit of the work for you. So the MTI is really amazing because it gives you an idea of what to do in the full cycle, right? And we know that over the last year, we've had big sell-offs, big runs to the upside. We've had tariffs and elections and you name it. We've had all kinds of stuff as we got liberated from our money in April, and then it came all the way back. Well, guess what? Turbo Income did fantastic in those periods because it has the Swiss Army knife of approaches, and we can kind of reach into our golf bag, to use another analogy, and grab the appropriate club for that particular shot. So it's really great that way. So 2 greens is starting to get to, I'm getting excited, right? I'm stepping on the gas a little bit. Do I immediately send out a turbo trade? Well, it's the right condition for a turbo trade, but I'm going to be looking at a couple of other little things. It is definitely sounding the green alarm on my screen and telling me, listen, there is something you seriously need to consider, but it is not an automatic. This is not some sort of algorithm. I will look at it. Does this represent a good, clean risk reward? Is this something that is going to fit into our approach as turbo incomers? Yes, then you'll get the alert. So it's not an absolute automatic.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, you're putting context into things. You're looking around. You may have multiple greens across different stocks, and now you're trying to figure out which one is the best turbo trade.
Yeah, you can almost think of it as a kind of environment filter, right? It's giving you an indication. And once you start seeing more and more green on the screen, then you start to also get a feel for, the breadth of the market, and more things are doing well. So absolutely, it's not an automatic trigger. It's a kind of environmental filter that is telling you, boy, you better pay attention right now, because this could be a very good opportunity.
Yeah, and I heard you mention how we did in April. We're going to look at that in just a second. So I know folks are probably asking themselves, how did he do in April? We're going to show you. Don't worry. Why wouldn't why wouldn't the MTI get you out of large losses?
Out of large losses. Well, look, very few indicators in the world can encapsulate every kind of possibility out there. It's going to help to push you towards favorable ones. It's actually going to help you stay out of unfavorable ones. We showed that last night with Tesla. There's one thing we really don't talk about it enough as investors and traders. There's this idea of, you get into a difficult position and you're not just going to waste money, you're going to waste time, you're going to waste opportunity cost. You should be looking at something else. But I remember a mentoring student once came to me and he said, I'm being tortured. I think it was one of the department stores. He said, I've owned this thing. It's been eating away at me for 7 or 8 months. And I said, listen, okay, this is what you're going to do. And I said, you're going to sell this, you're going to buy this, you're going to get out of half of it, you're going to do it. The next day he said it was like the storm clouds disappeared, right? So we should never underestimate the value of something that actually doesn't just tell you when to get in or when to stay in. It tells you, don't get involved in this. It's a waste of money. It's a waste of emotional capital. And these things are all very accretive to our performance over time, right? All these little things are going to make a difference if we're not wasting our mental capacity on things that aren't working. So, for example, before the sell-off in April, guess what? MTI and the SPY went blood red at 59, at 596 or 97. And then we dropped 1,000 points. Did it know we were going to drop 1,000 points? No, but it told you better pay attention. Something's going on here. So it does all kinds of things, which is really wonderful.
Yeah, it's really good at getting you out of the way of problems and putting you into stocks that are going to move higher. It's one of the reasons why I love that as an indicator. It may not catch the beginning of the sell-off, but if things are going to fall apart, MTI is almost certainly going to catch it. Would you agree?
I would agree.
Absolutely. And of course, we're going to get a lot of this. How does your strategy work during a bear market?
Bear market? What's that? Oh, wait. Today we have a mini bear market again. So look, they happen and you evolve with it, right? So the MTI is going to start telling you, well, look, you're getting a lot more yellows. You're going to be observing carefully each sector, each specific name, and you're going to start doing things that are appropriate. So, for example, what's Meta doing? It's performing very poorly. Well, guess what we've got on it in Turbo Income? We've got a bear call spread. What's a bear call spread? Calls sound like something you buy when you're bullish. Well, a bear call spread is the opposite of that. It's going to play a bearish outlook. It's going to capture income, but from the other way. You don't have to just play income from the long side. You can play income from the top down. And so you start to recognize opportunities with the MTI where you can actually do income trades that actually work the opposite way. So that position is doing well as Meta continues down. So it's something that can inform you, especially when you have me directing the orchestra here every week, as we do for an hour every single week on Mondays. We are looking at these kinds of things. And look, in a bearish market, Mark, you're going to be the first to know this is, listen, you get some nice juicy premiums. People are a little bit more worried. There's more uncertainty. And that's where income starts to make a little bit more sense, sensibly though, right? You don't just go running in. You pick your spots and you wait for those trades to make sense.
So, again, we're going to look here in just a second at how the strategy performs in a bear market. And so make sure you stay tuned. How did the strategy perform? We got a lot of bear market questions and downside questions. How did the strategy perform in a market like the downturn in April?
Yeah, and another thing is you start to shift, and this is something that isn't in the MTI necessarily, but I teach people. I say, listen, when things get a little bit bearish, you want to really start to focus on those 5-star opportunities. You let those 2 stars go by. You let those 3 stars go by, and you start to focus on names. And we did that in April. We picked up Uber positions, Hood positions, a few more that in names that really had those great stories that we were focusing on at the time. And there you go. I mean, this is why we keep a sleeve of cash. That is your dry powder, right? We need dry powder in order to ignite the turbo or the leaps trade, when we see something pull back that we've had on our shopping list, and it's Black Friday in the market, and we go, my goodness, good thing we've got a little cash here. And those turned into very, very good trades. So overall, I don't think we had a losing trade in April. I don't want to brag about that too much, but we didn't have a losing trade.
So stay tuned. We are going to show you, everyone, your results. So nothing to worry about there. Again, people are worried about the downside. What about in a black swan event? How is this system hedged in case of a black swan event?
Well, look, the nice thing is typically equities are a little slow to the party here. They kind of slowly realize that things are getting a little bit more uncertain out there. So we often get chances, and that's going to be indicated by the MTI. It'll tell you, listen, something is developing. We do have cash reserves that are very important, right? We are waiting for that, right? We are in risk markets, so there's a little bit of risk. We keep those cash reserves to take advantage, and sometimes we hedge. So on Nebius, for example, right now, we have an incredible hedge that is performing phenomenally. And that is a recognition of something that's developing, an MTI that's screaming help. And so we've got a terrific hedge trade on in there. And so there are various ways you can handle warning signs that develop. As they develop quickly, you can react to that. If you open up down 50% tomorrow, it's not going to encompass every single kind of thing. I ran a couple of black swan funds for a few years, millions of dollars in black swan funds, and you try your best, right? And these things, they can be effective if you have the right protection on them. But those are basically the ways. We've got these cash reserves, we've got these hedges at times, and we definitely watch that MTI very carefully.
Yeah, one of the common misconceptions is that black swans happen out of nowhere. They do not. 87, I remember it like yesterday. I was 9. 87, we were down on Thursday pretty badly. We were down on Friday pretty badly. Then Black Monday happened. The financial crisis, we saw that coming for, that summer of 2008 was incredibly volatile. And there were absolutely signs leading into the financial collapses that things were falling apart. 2015, the China mess, we got about 2 or 3 days of warning on that. MTI is going to catch these major market moves if they're systemic, right? You get a one day move, like, I don't know, storming the Capitol, if you will. MTI is not going to catch that. Nobody will. But remember, those are one-off events, and within a day or two, we'd already rallied back. But these big systemic moves in the market, MTI is specifically designed to capture those types of events as they're developing and before they happen.
It's pretty trigger happy on the way out, which is nice, right? So on the way up, it tends to kind of ease into it, and sometimes it'll see something early, right? The Tesla chart that we showed, it started to get super green before we even saw a breakout. So it's a little bit slower to the upside, but that's because it really needs that those signs to be very much in place to commit to that trade. When things get a little bit ugly, it's pretty fast, right? It says, okay, I don't like the looks of this. So it's kind of always interesting for me to look at the reaction time one way or the other. And I think if you had to choose one or the other, I think that's the better way to have things set up, right? You want things to be a little bit more cautious. And when you're up money on a position, that's one of the great things about the MTI, is it keeps you in a position. What is something that you often hear about, Mark? That people, picking the trade is difficult. We got it here. Staying in the trade is one of the very hardest things to do, right? It's one of the very hardest things. And when students come to us and say, I can't make any money, I'm making money, I'm losing money, I've just spent a year spinning my wheels. You need to be able to stay in positions. That is a crucial ingredient to performance over time. And so something that gives you that confidence, you take a look at that MTI and it goes, hang in there, Charlie. You're doing great. You're doing great. Give yourself a pat on the back. This is going in the right direction. Let the market. I mean, it's all revolves around my view that at times we want to let the market do the work for us. Okay? Let it. It wants to. Look at the market. What's it done since 1920? It's done pretty well. Well, we did have 1929 in there. That was a little hiccup, but you know, I barely remember it.
The 70s weren't so hot either, but none of those were crashes, right? Well, 29 was, but really we went a very long time without any major market events until 87. So Hans, you've answered a bunch of questions. We're going to look at your track record here. This is, but we hope that if you had any questions about Turbo Income, we've answered those. Because Turbo Income, if you're looking to grow your wealth, if you're looking to ditch your financial advisor and create real returns, steady returns with low risk and a really high reward between income trades, turbo trades, and leaps trades, Turbo Income is your answer. Turbo Income, you're going to get turbo trades. These are the souped up trades that a small account wants that can return, you know, over the previous period that we were looking at, 245%. You're going to get the leap trades and you're going to get income trade alerts. You get access to all three types of trades for max performance of your portfolio. You're going to get trade alerts on every buy and sell for Turbo Income and leap trades. They're going to come to your email. They're going to come to your phone, and they'll come via SMS as well, both in and out. They're sent directly to you. So the nice thing is, if you're off, you're golfing, you get the push notification that there's a trade, you know, in between slicing your drive, you can put on the trade on your phone. It's really easy now. Or you can say, you know what, I'm going to wait till I get home. And you're going to get access to the Turbo Income portfolio. It averages about 1 to 2 trades a week. Have more time to enter these positions because they're slower. We're really talking about, I mean, how much time does someone need to put into this? Hour, 2 hours a week?
An hour a week, Mark. You can put, you know, you can use that MTI for any of your stocks, right? So you want to put a little more time in there. You want to spend your Saturday night, you know, taking a look at some opportunities to make money instead of watching a Squid Game season 3. Absolutely up to you. But in terms of what we do each week, an hour a week, we get together on Mondays. And so there is a little bit of a commitment, right? So you want to think, well, am I willing to, I mean, look at these returns, right? If what your FA is giving you isn't good enough, and it's not good, it wouldn't be good enough for me, not by any stretch of the imagination. Is it good enough? And if it isn't, you have an option here. I want you to join Turbo Income because it's going to be a solution to what you're experiencing. And it's going to be an hour commitment a week. Now we tape those, so you don't have to be there at 1 p.m. on Mondays. You can watch that later on. So there's a little bit of a commitment to achieve these kinds of numbers and these income goals that you in all likelihood have.
Yeah. And you can use those turbos to turn those already great wins of 20 to 30% on the income side to bring in 200, 300, even 500%. You've had 8 triple-digit winners out of 44 trades so far in 2025. That is phenomenal. You get the market temperature indicator for your own charts. You can see upside momentum on every stock. You're going to get videos on how to add MTI charts to Thinkorswim or TradingView. TradingView is free. Thinkorswim is free if you're a customer. Unlimited access to see if your stocks have accumulated long momentum for a sustained move higher. And you can use it on any stock, any market, just about anything. Everybody's worried about that bear market. They're looking at this market today and saying, gee, I wonder what MTI is up to and what it's saying. Guess what? When you join Turbo, we're going to show Turbo Income. We're going to show you how you can apply this to your charts and use it so that as that market temperature indicator starts to go red, you can get out of the way. And what's beautiful is that when it goes full red and the market drops, you're going to see it start to go yellow, and then it'll start going green, and you'll know when to jump back in. And my guessing is the market will have gone here, drop to here, and it'll be here. And you're going to get a great opportunity to jump in. You get weekly live trading sessions with Hans. These are every Monday at 1 p.m. Eastern time. He walks through the income strategies, new trades and questions, and the chat room, so you can converse with the other Turbo Income traders, is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And Hans is an excellent teacher and trader. He's patient, and he will answer every question you have about the strategy as you're going through, as he's showing you the trades and trading with you. Turbo Income traders also receive the ripcord strategy for downside protection on every trade. That is Hans's way of getting out of Dodge when things look bad. Hans's 7-week course on Turbo Income will be available immediately to you so that you can learn Turbo Income. And I got a little caveat that I'm going to explain on that in 1 second. You get the Turbo Trade Watch List, direct access to TI-25 for your own portfolio calculations. You get the full income video library, 3 different ways to scan for quality stocks, alternative income strategies. You get a free special report, historical volatility versus implied, and a free guide on IV rank and IV percentile, two of Hans's most important indicators. Coming this week, 1 p.m., Turbo Income kickoff class. You're going to learn to make your first trade. You're going to review Hans's watch list. And then on Tuesday, you heard me talk about the 7-week income masterclass. That's 7 hours of really valuable recorded content that's available to you right away that'll get you jump started into Turbo Income. Everything, but Hans is going to do a live income masterclass on Tuesday at 4 p.m. He's going to condense the 7-hour course into one. Think of it, the Cliff's Notes, the important parts, the highlights, the things that you really need to concentrate on from the 7-week course, live on Tuesday at 4 p.m. By the time, just that hour, you'll be ready to go if you weren't already by the time he got done on Monday. So, Turbo Income. You're getting the weekly live trading session, income, leap, and turbo trades. Trade alerts. You're getting the ripcord strategy to limit downside. You're getting that market temperature indicator that is so valuable. Tells you when to get in, when to get out, gives you a heads up. You're getting the income video library, the 7-week course with Hans on turbo trades, that Turbo Income full portfolio, this 24/7 classroom, the 2 special reports, the special live session with Hans on Tuesday, where he is going to wrap up that 7-hour course into 1 hour and give you the highlights. Now, today, and only today, 1 year of Turbo Income with Hans is $17.97. That's 55% off. And I want to be clear about something. We are not going to have this offer available after today. If you try and buy tomorrow, it's going back up to retail price. Today is the last and only day left to get $17.97 for a year. That's 55% off. Now, maybe you want to increase your commitment, make your purchase cheaper over time. You can get his 3-year Turbo Income membership for just $37.97. And what's more, Hans has kind of something special for you for that 3-year offer. Hans, what are you doing with everybody on that buys the 3-year?
You are going to get some one-on-one time with me. One-on-one time with me, which is a real bonus. You're going to be able to pick my brain, somebody who's done this for 3 decades and has managed almost $1 billion in option strategies, market maker, fund manager, income fund manager. You will have my ear and we can discuss the program, how things work, and whatever you'd like to talk about. Just about.
Yeah, you're going to answer their questions, help them understand the strategy, the thoughts behind it. But this is a one-on-one opportunity or a small group opportunity with Hans, and we'll schedule it within the next couple of weeks. So all 3-year members get access to a special small group session in the next 2 weeks. Personal tips, personal tricks, MTI updates, everything behind the scenes of Turbo Income, as well as anything new Hans is developing. So that is only for people that join at the 3-year level. That is a special bonus for you committing to increase your wealth and to grow your account using Hans's Turbo Income strategy. And let me just show you what people are saying. Hans's service is awesome. Low stress, profit on 100% of closed trades from September through today. The profit alone in NVIDIA trade paid for your service. I closed Apple. I mean, they go on and on and on. Hans makes me money. Hans is a money maker. All right. Wow, Hans, you just gave me my best trade this year. Well done. You are a legend.
A legend? What?
You are a legend.
I got to show my kids that one. That one is.
Yes.
Yeah.
So again, this is the last day that these prices will be available to you. $17.97 and $37.97 close at midnight tonight. So you have to get in right now, or you're going to be paying up. You're going to be paying an extra $700 to $1,000 to join Turbo Income if you decide to hold off till tomorrow. So if you're planning on joining Turbo Income, you've been thinking about it, today is the day. And I would remind you, every purchase of Option Pit memberships, 14-day money back guaranteed, no questions asked. So you have nothing to worry about with making this purchase. I'm trying to make this as easy for you as I possibly can.
Mark, how
$17.97 ends at midnight. You have 2 weeks to try it. And if you change your mind, we'll give you your money back. Same goes for the 3-year.
How quickly can people jump into
again.
this?
You're not going to see it again. And here's some other nice comments. Hans has put me in position to get years and years of investment. Hans and deep understanding of options to develop trades with multiple edges. Most profitable of the Option Pit services for me. Here are all those wonderful. He's a superb instructor. These are some heartfelt words of thanks to you, Hans. I know that you really enjoy seeing that and how happy it makes you that your traders are experiencing such great success. And I know you're bashful about this. So
that one gets me a little verklempt. That one
does.
gets me verklempt. I don't know if you remember SNL. I'm a little verklempt.
So there you have it, folks. This is your opportunity to join Hans and me, or well, not me, to to join Hans and myself as I'm trading with Hans and get access to Turbo Income. All right, we got a couple of minutes here. I bought Tuesday night, Ryan, was great. Placed my first trade this morning. I'm concerned that there may not be very many trades that can be taken with a small under $10,000 account. Hans, any response to that?
$20,000 account?
Yeah, a small account.
Yeah, a small account, absolutely. A small account, the nice thing about these trades is you really have a choice of different approaches, depending on what the market is telling you, depending on what the MTI is telling you. So you really can position yourself, and we're not going to force anything, right? We have a good track record. We have a 91% win rate. We have profits. If you look at $1,000 per trade, what you've made, we don't force things, right? So if you want me to tell you, well, we're going to do 10 trades a week, we don't do things like that. We look for the right opportunities, and that size account is going to be absolutely good for that. There's no question.
Yeah, absolutely. $17.97 to join. You can click the link, or if you have questions, you can call my team, 888-872-3301. Now, as promised, I said I would show you guys my Hans's track record. And we're going to go back to the beginning. Here's April. I'm going to make this easier for you guys to read. Here's April. Opened April 4th, closed the 23rd, 54%. That was Hood, a leap trade. Uber, opened the 7th, closed the 23rd, 41%. SPY, an income trade, opened on the 11th, closed on the 16th, 23%. Costco, income, 21st to the 29th, 12.5%. You have another leap trade that did 37%, another leap trade that did 25%. And then the lone trade opened in April was a turbo trade on SPY. But then look at all these other turbo trades, 30%, 128%, 16, 255%, 3%. You go 2 full months before you have another loss, and then you get more income trades. I mean, count these up. I'm going to count all the losses. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.5%. We'll count it. 7 losses on 74 trades.
And you'll notice, guys, that lately, you'll notice that as we've had a very, very strong market, and I've had a lot of income people come to me, people who trade for income, and they say, Hans, what am I doing? I'm making money, but I feel like I'm leaving so much money on the upside, on the table. I'm leaving so much money on the table. And I said, you've got to understand, you got to be able to read the tea leaves. You've got to be able to understand when the market is wanting to do a lot of the work for you. There's a time for income. There's a time for turbo. There's a time for leaps, right? And so you can see that we've positioned ourselves a little bit more in turbos lately, which is actually something we mentioned even a few months ago, Mark, when we were chatting on a show, and we said we're going to be positioning in more turbos, and that's exactly what has happened. When you want to grab a little bit more of that upside, you're saying, listen, I'm not satisfied with $2 of income. I want to make $8, $10 of upside. And that really is how you need to be able to pivot and evolve. And that's what makes it really such a versatile strategy.
Yeah, it's absolutely versatile. It produces incredible returns. And you can see 91% win rate. That is phenomenal. There are hedge funds that would just die to have the returns that Hans has. Can you be fairly new to options and be successful? Or is it going to take me months and months of training to be able to trade your strategies?
Well, I think you're going to you're going to be able to learn immediately. We've got wonderful course material. You're going to be able to get involved, learn about how these things work very, very quickly. Your learning curve is going to be phenomenal. And I'm in there answering questions. We have members of many different levels, from the very, very beginning to more advanced. and you're going to be up and running very, very quickly. These are not complicated trades, right? We're not putting on 19-legged, four-headed monster kind of strategies. These are sensible strategies that really, really work. And so you're going to be up and running before you know it.
Yeah, Hans, I think you're having video problems. In a prolonged, severe bear market, why not just do cash machine plays? I don't know exactly what that means.
Well, I think, look, in a prolonged bear market, guess what you're going to have? You're going to have a whole bunch of MTIs. You're going to have there we go. That's better. We're going to have a whole bunch of yellow MTIs that are going to tell you, listen, it's time to be cautious. It's time to be aware that the environment perhaps has changed a little bit. And that's oftentimes when option pricing gets a little richer, and you can use that to your advantage and really kind of trade the kind of strategy that you're talking about. And that really that's another income type strategy, just a different variation on that for sure.
Yeah. Other questions. Are the other OP traders jealous of Hans? Sometimes. Do past year's results align with those of 2025? That's a great question. Now, the track record goes back to when you began, but you've got some previous kind of live trading. Why don't you tell us, you've been at this for a very long time. What does your kind of historical track record look like? Talking 24, 23.
24, 23?
Yeah.
Terrific. I mean, look, let's face it, it comes down to also recognizing the environment, using things like the MTI, which have developed over many, many years. I've tweaked it, I've improved it. We're always learning, right? Even I'm learning. I'm learning. And if you decide that you don't need to learn anymore, you need to take a look in the mirror and decide if that's actually true, because we never stop learning. And so 23, fantastic year, very bullish. 24, very bullish. And 22 was actually a good year. So because I've told you about it, Mark, some of my best years as a prop trader, as a market maker, were actually in bearish years because, there's more volatility, there's more movement, you've got better option pricing, and you're just trading it differently. Just like the meta trade I just mentioned, there are different ways to trade for income. You don't need straight up for income. You don't need sideways for income. You need movement. And you need to be able to read those tea leaves, as I said.
All right. Once again, I would invite you to click the link or give my team a call, 888-872-3301. This is the last time you will see this. This $17.97 price ends at midnight. We pulled it special for you because we saw there were a lot of questions that we didn't get to address. We wanted to answer those. So we're opening up this $17.97 price just for today to answer your specific questions. And the 3-year trade as well, the 3-year Turbo Income membership as well, that will not be available. And remember, with the 3-year only, you get that small group session in the next 2 weeks with Hans, where he will answer all of your questions. Any other questions for myself or Hans? Going through to see if there's anything else. How much of a $10,000 account will be used at one time?
So with a $10,000 account, you're going to be putting to work about 8,500 of it. And that's going to take a little time. We're not going to just plow that into the market. We're going to be putting it in there sensibly over time as we see opportunities evolve, and we're going to keep that percent in dry powder for those opportunities. As we may be seeing today, we're starting to get a little bit of a sell-off. So that's where we're starting to rub our hands and say, okay, we might be getting some opportunities here to pick up the very, very best ideas that we have, the very best trades.
All right, for 3% allocation on income, should this be based on income received or max percentage of risk, or something else?
Generally, you're looking at risk. You're looking at the risk, right, Mark? You want to always consider what's the maximum risk in a position, right? So as we know, if we're spending $300, that's our risk. If we're receiving 300, let's look at what the sort of maximum downside in that position is.
Will you let us know which trades are good for small accounts?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I get those questions. In fact, we have a new member just this morning saying, hey, you know, can we adjust this particular trade because we put on a trade and it was a little bit higher income. And I said, yeah, what you can do is you can bring those strikes closer together. We're going to reduce the amount of capital required for this, and it's still going to be a turbo trade that gets you that upside that you're looking for.
Are you doing debit trades along with the credit trades for turbos and leaps?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're using one trade to finance the other. So exactly what you're talking about. Definitely, there's a combination when the conditions are just right. There's a combination of that credit plus the debit that really gets us that nice punch that we're looking for.
All right. Once again, click the link and join us. 1797 ends today at midnight. Are all the trades allowed in IRA accounts? They should be. If you have option clearance, they should be. Hans, I'm new to trader to Turbo Income. Your portfolio shows you sell by one contract. Is that what we should be doing, or should we increase the number of contracts to get us closer to 3% limit per trade?
Great question. Great question. Well, we do the one contract just to keep it very simple. That's sort of the minimum size that you're going to want to do, and you're going to be able to adjust to your personal situation, your personal circumstances, your you know, the level of risk reward that you're willing to accept. So absolutely, yeah, you can adjust that.
Larry says yes. He's trades in his IRA and he's not had any problems. Do you ever do dividend or recapture strategies?
Recapture strategies?
Mm-hmm.
Well, not really. Oh, wait.
You lost your camera again, Hans.
There we go.
Oh. Did we lose him entirely? All right. Well, everybody, we lost Hans. But I don't believe that we do dividend recapture. But what I do believe and what I know is that this 1797 ends at midnight. The 3-year ends at midnight. And this is the only day that we're offering that special 3-year small group session. And you've got this Tuesday session to really get going with your turbo trades. Again, you get the weekly live trading sessions, income, leap, turbo trades, trade alerts, ripcord strategy to limit downside, the market temperature indicator, the income video library, 7-week course with Hans on turbo income full portfolio, 24/7 chat room so you can talk with people. Again, those special reports. And again, first session is Monday at 1 p.m. And then we have the special live income masterclass on Tuesday. And if you buy the 3-year, you're going to, in the next 2 weeks, you're going to have a small group session with Hans. All right, everybody. One more time, click that link. If you have questions, you want to know if you've got account credits for the 3-year, give us a call, 888-872-3301. I want to thank everyone for being here. I am Mark Sebastian. I am your only option for Hans. We'll see you in Turbo Income. Click that link. This ends at midnight.